the law. That's my child. I need to find a hook, right? I need to find a hook. It's too late, and I can't wait for you to be gone. Now we're filming. I'm a goof. I'm a goof. A goof. My hair. I don't like my hair. I don't like my hair. I don't like my hair. The biggest misunderstanding when it comes to manifestation is that most of the people think that's something you choose to do, and that is not what's happening here. This is not an active choice. Okay, starting today, 3 p.m. Pacific time, I'm gonna manifest. I'm gonna learn how to manifest. No, you've been doing it your whole life. You manifest on autopilot. This is not a choice, because some people say, I don't want to manifest. You got it wrong. You don't decide whether you're manifesting today or not. Think law of gravity. Manifestation is not different than the law of gravity. Gravity didn't start applying to you the day that someone explained to you what gravity is, right? When you were, let's say, 3 years old and you dropped something on the floor, it still fell on the floor. No one had to explain to you that's the law of gravity. You didn't shoot out as a newborn and started floating in the room. The law of gravity applied to you even before you knew what the law of gravity is. So the same way as you cannot wake up tomorrow and say, fuck you, gravity. Today, you're not gonna, no, it's not gonna apply to me. You cannot wake up and say, the law of assumption is not gonna apply to me. I don't know what it is. No, that's not a choice. So that's how I want you to understand the law of assumption. It's already operating. So your best bet is to understand how energy moves and move it in your favor. That's basically all that it is. Manifestation is not something that you suddenly start doing just because you learned about visualizing, scripting, affirming. Those are techniques. Vision boards, state akin to sleep. Those are techniques. That is not the law. That's a technique. So let's differentiate in between the law of assumption and techniques that you learn trying to trick your brain into assuming something it doesn't naturally assume. There are things that you can consciously use to try to work on your assumptions, but they're not manifestation itself. You were manifesting long before you even heard the word manifestation, because all day long you have assumptions. You have assumptions about who you are, about money, about how the world operates, about your friendships, about other people, about what happens to you, so on and so forth. Most importantly, you do have an assumption about what's accessible to you, what kind of life you are capable of having. So maybe you think men always leave me, friends take advantage of me, money it's so hard to get, I never get what I want, I have to hustle. And I bet you don't walk around all day thinking, oh, these are my assumptions. But if you step back and look how your life has been unfolding up until now, you can see what your
assumptions are. You probably just call them facts. You know, that's a fact that money is hard to make and you have to hustle and you have to go to college, and then if you don't work like really hard, you're gonna lose all that you want, and if you make a mistake, everything will be taken from you. You think that's just how my life is, or that's how life is. You know, things suck. Life is not fair. You just see things as facts. You don't realize those are assumptions that are built in, and your life operates based on them. You're probably unaware of the fact that is an assumption that I have accepted to be true. That is when the understanding of the law of assumption becomes really, really important. Because once you're realizing you operate from assumptions, now you can actually have a chance to become conscious of what the hell it is that you've been assuming up until now. So, as you become conscious of your assumptions, then is when you get like real powerful, because you can choose to change them. You can choose what to actually assume from this point on in regards to your life. So, learning about manifestation isn't a magical way to trick the universe into giving you all that you want, even though ask and you shall receive, how a book says. The universe is there to always prove you right. So, the universe will magically give you all that you want, but that's a different topic. The point in learning about the law of assumption and what law of assumption actually is, it's becoming conscious of something that you've already been doing your entire life and learning how to do it deliberately instead of doing it unconscious. So that's why the next thing we're gonna actually talk about is what is actually an assumption, because it's a tiny bit more deeper than like repeating a sentence and magically make it happen, even though affirmation does work. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will do my absolute best to stop sitting on my ass and post a video every Sunday. We're going to talk more about assumptions. If there's anything that's unclear in this video, drop a comment. I'll make a separate video to answer this. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you guys. I'll see you later.